We are live. The channel is Nuke the House, brought to you by nukethehouse.com. That's right. The best for live betting and sports gambling information. Head on over to nukethehouse.com. I'm here today with Jamie. Thank you for joining me. Tyler could not make it, so I'm so happy to have you here because I know where I'm going tonight. I got 2 plays for tonight already, but I'm a little worried about my plays for this weekend, and I need to talk to someone about this. So, Jamie, how are you? The last time you were on, I was wrong, and I said, hey, I could be wrong about this pick, and I was absolutely wrong. I said the Heat are the better franchise and the Bulls are the better team, and I still believe that, but I think that maybe the better franchise just wins in these playoff games, right? Where understanding the moment matters. You show up and you give 71 points in the first half. That's a regular season effort. That's not raising your game for the postseason. That's not understanding how you raise your level under the bright lights. This team wasn't ready. And, I still don't think their roster is worse than Miami's. I think they just didn't understand what was meant from them. And then, of course, the second game, well, at least my team kept their pick, right, Jamie? Because, what's funny about that game? Kings won 3 of the 4 quarters.
Yeah.
They just got smoked so bad in the second that it wasn't even a close game. So
When
nice for
play
me,
got
though.
hot.
I get up early, so I was able to get some sleep. Talk to me about what you saw in those last 2 playing games, and that'll lead us into tonight. We'll do tonight, and then we'll look ahead to this weekend.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, the Miami game, man. I think we are all kind of leaning a little bit towards Chicago. I don't remember who it was in the chat. Was it Don? Maybe someone in the chat was big on Miami. So hopefully you made some money there. But we were on the under. The under did hit. That one looked good. But we talked about it too before the game. It's a Tyler Hero game. And when he scored like 36 or 38, man, if he's gonna be on like that, it's gonna be tough to beat. And transitioning a little bit to the Sacramento game versus Dallas, it was kind of similar with Clay. If Clay's efficient and he's scoring 20 to 25 points, and he had that big second quarter, they're going to be tough to beat because AD had a pretty inefficient game, but he still put up like 27 and 9. So yeah, Tyler was definitely right. Tyler was on Dallas, and he told people to get on Dallas. So hopefully people made money there too. But yeah, glad those games are over, man. We get through tonight with neither one of these teams really having a chance, once they make it through, and then it's on to the fun tomorrow. So I'm excited to chop it up with you, man.
Yeah, and I would say, well, if I'm right about tonight, I think that team has a chance to at least make things tough for Cleveland.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the other side, I think you're just setting up to become a sacrificial lamb. So let's dive into tonight. And then I want to talk to you about this weekend because,
Yeah.
The way I create numbers is real simple. And rather than just get super advanced with it, I just understand some of my flaws. And I understand some of my flaws for my numbers is for when the postseason starts, it's going to kick out a lot of underdogs. But we just know from betting experience that the first round in the NBA is some of the chalkiest results that you'll get in any sport in any season. So,
Yep.
I'm trying to mitigate how do I balance with what my projections are spitting out and what my brain knows. But before we do that, let's dive into tonight. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat, they traveled to Chicago. They got the win. The Atlanta Hawks, not only did they lose, they looked bad against Orlando. That was not a close game. I know they made that push in the third quarter to cut it to 3 or to 5. But other than that, that game was never in doubt. I see Tyler. He's going to be in the chat with us. So for all the Tyler fans that are watching the show, he's still here with you. But talk to me about what you're doing in this game, and then I'll go ahead and give you my pick because I made a play in this game, Jamie, and I might be the victim of recency bias here. Talk to me about what you're looking at.
I don't have a side on here. If I had to choose, I would probably lean Miami. But I did take some on the total. I took it at 219.5. That was yesterday afternoon. So it's up to 221. So not a ton of value there. I had this at 222. So not a ton of value there still. But like I said, if I had to choose a side, it would be Miami. I think this is going to be a big Trae Young game. So I kind of like his over 36.5 points and assists. I think he's going to leave. I mean, I would not be shocked if he shot the ball 30 plus times tonight. I think he's going to leave it all out there. So I like the combination there. I also took a Dyson Daniels under 4.5 assists. I think that's correlated a little bit to the fact I think Trey Young is going to have the ball in his hand for a large portion of this game. So I like that side. I'm interested to see who you like as far as the side. I can't get a good read on it. Like I said, I lean Miami, and it looks like Tyler leans Miami here too. So I'm gonna stay away. Tyler Hero has just been insanely hot. I think over his last 10 games, he's averaging 28 and 5, and he's shooting like almost 50% from three. I mean, if he's gonna continue this streak, man, you're not gonna be able to beat this team. So I'm interested to see what side you're leaning on here.
And this is why I'm worried it's recency bias. But I look at that Chicago game, and I came on here on Wednesday and I said, the Bulls have too much offense, right? I don't think there's that much difference between the Bulls and Atlanta as far as overall makeup of the team. And I
Mm-mm.
know that Dyson Daniels gets a lot of steals. To me, he's not a top 10 point of attack defender. He's an elite off ball defender in the passing lanes. He's the best, right?
Yeah.
But he's not the guy. And there's two guys that I like, and that's why I'd be even a little worried about your Trey play. I like Davion and Andrew Wiggins at the point of attack.
Yeah.
To try and shut down Trey. And I think Richardson is a great young player, but I think he's learning some growing pains right now. And it's just kind of weird how the NBA is. I told you I watched that game where I think I bet the Hawks Nets under about a week ago, and the Nets didn't play anybody. And Richardson looked like an all-star. It was like, how is this guy not rookie of the year?
Mm-hmm.
But it's because he's playing G League. And we see this all the time with your favorite teams and your favorite players, right? Anyone who's watching the chat knows this. You have some second round draft pick. He doesn't do anything. They send him down to the G League, and you look and he's like, oh, he did 37 and 8 in the G League, right? And then he comes back up and can't even get run in the NBA. So this elite level is a lot higher. So I don't know if Trey Young's going to have the support. Hey, call me Nico Harrison. Defense wins playing games. But the way that Miami was really able to raise their level and treat it like a playoff game.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in everybody's face. You still have Bam. Khalil Ware's a sneaky good, what I consider a two-way player. I like him on both ends of the floor. And the team seemed to understand the gravity of the moment where I felt the Bulls just thought it was game 83.
Yeah.
Hey, just another regular season game. If we lose, we lose. Let's just chuck up our shots. So I'm worried that I'm overreacting, but I went with Miami based on what I saw and basically the similarities between what I think are the Hawks and the Bulls and how they like to play the game.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. I think that's where I'm leaning too. Sounds like that's where Tyler's on. Two high variance teams, man. I don't like to back either one of these teams, but I think Miami feels like the right side. And like you said,
Jamie, history is not our side. Not on our side. No number 10 seed since this play-in tournament's been created has made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, we're going against history here again too.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. So on Trey Young, I think maybe he'll be super efficient. For me, I just think he's going to shoot the ball like almost 30 times, man. I envision him being a guy that's going to go out on his shield, especially after getting thrown out. I think he's going to come hot. And he honestly struggled early on in that game. He did catch fire a little bit late in their last game, but I expect him to have a big night here. And I don't even think that's necessarily conducive to winning, right? Like, I don't think it's like he scores 35 points. He shoots the ball, 24 times, 25 times, not even like a super efficient game.
I agree with you. And I think one of the biggest fallacies that you'll hear people make in their breakdown is best player on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be best player on the floor. And we're going to talk about, Jokic is going to be the best player on the floor. I don't know if I like the Nuggets to win.
Yeah.
Giannis is going to be the best player on the floor. I like the price on the Bucks, but if you made it even money, I don't know if I would bet the Bucks at that number. Do you see what I'm saying? So to me,
100%.
best player on the floor, that's kind of a fallacy, and it's a lazy man's handicap. Obviously, it helps, but I think you're right. There's a scenario where Trey drops 30, gets 12 assists, and the Hawks lose by 11.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. I'm with you there.
Let's move on to the next game because I feel like this game is going to be similar to the game that I did get right on Tuesday night when I said, hey, I don't think Memphis is going to win, but I think this line's a little too high and this game is going to be closer than the bookmakers are giving it credit for. And that's why it's like, I think the Mavericks, I think it's their last game of the season tonight. Let's go back to that best player on the floor fallacy. I think Anthony Davis will be the best player on the floor. I think Memphis is going to end up being the number 8 seed. However, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. And, got to go to bed early on Wednesday night. I think I'm going to be staying up till the end tonight as this game comes down to the wire. I like the Mavericks to keep this one close. I'm taking the points with Dallas, but not the money line. I know you heard that on Wednesday night too, right? When I said I don't think Dallas can win money line, and they did. So take that with a grain of salt. But I took the Mavericks here. But I do think Memphis advances, so I'm not as excited about the money line. But what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I have no side on this one. I was dead wrong on Dallas last time. Tyler says Memphis. He seems to have a good read on Dallas, so I will lean Memphis here.
Win though, but they're
Okay,
catching
to win. You're right. You're right. You're right. Dallas is, man, they're a tough team to back. Like I said, if Klay Thompson's going to come out and be super efficient again, I just don't know if we can expect that form for Klay. Like, I think Klay would have been a perfect fit on this team. Had he's like a third option, potentially fourth option, and his role was kind of just catch and shoot. But if he's having to be like the number one guard for this team, I think they're going to struggle. I think AD has a much better night. AD's last 3 games versus Memphis is 32, 15, and 2 blocks. So I do think he has a pretty solid night. But again, I would lean towards the Memphis side here. I think they definitely win the game. I do lean for them to cover as well. I am on Desmond Bane over 21.5 points. I'm just not sure about John Morant's injury. I think Desmond Bane's going to chuck it up there. So and he seems like to have a hot hand. So I'm going to lean with the Memphis side. Like I said, I root for Dallas just because I have some buddies that are Mavericks fans, and I have sympathy for them. And like I said, I like AD. I would like to see at least AD get into the playoffs and do something there. Neither one of these teams, in my opinion, have a chance against OKC. I know we're going to touch on that in a second, but like I said, I would lean Memphis side, but it's not a strong lean here for me whatsoever.
All right, fair enough. Tim, our guy Tim in the chat says Memphis will come into the game ready to go. That was a late game the other night against the Warriors, and he was hoping that Memphis was going to beat Golden State.
Me
Two
too.
other things to factor in my handicap before you just run and bet both those 10 seeds. Both teams will have the extra day of rest that lost. Obviously, we always factor that into our regular season handicaps, and I think that applies tonight. And no 10 seeds ever made the playoffs. So we'll see if that actually happens or if that trend continues. So a couple things to look in mind. All right, Jamie, I'm going to pull up my NBA projections. These are available to members of nukethehouse.com. If you're not a member, head on over to Nuke the House. You know what to do. But Jamie, I know one of the flaws, and this happened to me in the regular season too, those last 2 weeks or the month, they're going to tell me to take every single underdog. So I'm going to go through each one of these games and tell you where my projections landed and just get your thoughts. And I hope Tyler's still in the chat and he can do it too. The first game I have Milwaukee and Indiana. The total is 224.5. Pacers minus 5.5. I have it 116 to 110 about. So real slight to the Pacers and really slight to the over. However, my brain wants to take the points with Milwaukee. What do you think?
I lean Milwaukee here. I think it's probably closer to about 3.5 for this line. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think this team also got a little bit mojo back with the Damian Lillard news. Like, I don't think, from a quantitative perspective, it's not gonna have like a ton of impact there, but I think a morale thing of seeing your guy have that kind of a blood clot thing and the news of him coming back, I think could jolt this team. But I think Giannis is going to have his way here. I don't see anyone on Indiana that is going to be able to stop him. The total I have right around the same spot. So I'm with you there. I do have one bet, but it's a player prop. It's just Giannis over 51.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I mean, this guy's been almost, I think he's had a triple-double, like 5 out of the last 6 games. He's very much involved in the offense, having the ball in his hands, a lot, distributing more. I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to have a big series. I'm not sure of how Indiana's going to match up with him. I would lean with the Milwaukee side here, like I said, because I do think it's about a point and a half off from what I have it, about 2 points. So um, that's where I'm leaning. But I'm with you. So you had the what you said 216. Is that what you have as the total?
Yeah.
216. Well, yeah,
No, 226. 226.
226. Okay. Oh, you said 116, 110. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I have it pretty close.
Trends like Milwaukee and the over. Milwaukee's 7-1 against the spread in their last 8. Milwaukee's 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 against Indiana. The total's gone over in 9 of Milwaukee's last 11 games. The total's gone over in 8 of Indiana's last 11 games. The total's gone over in 4 of Indiana's last 5 against Milwaukee. So if you like trends, the over is your friend. I might actually add that too, just because my projections like it. And when the projections and the trends align, that's something that I like a lot.
Yeah.
This next game, Jamie, I really don't know what to do with it, because I do think I do kind of like the Clippers here, but for some reason I kind of think I'm wrong too. Like, I don't have a lot of conviction the more I've thought about this series, and maybe it's because the whole market's with us, right? The
Yeah.
Clippers opened about plus 110. They're about minus 120 to win the series right now on the road. And Kawhi is, the way he's playing right now, you can argue top 5, but to me, Jokic is still the best player in the world. I have this game at 114 to 113. So that would tell you to take the Clippers plus 2.5, and I have it at 227 on a 224, but I'm not taking that over for sure. I don't care what the trends are here. I'm staying away from that. I'm actually staying away from this game altogether, unless you can just make the most compelling argument ever. Then I'm leaving money on the table by not betting the Clippers.
No, I'm with you. I got all this stuff pretty close. I think Denver's about a 2 point favorite. I like 2.1 on my stuff. And then I have the total at 224.5. So I have this right on line. I don't think again, if you like the Clippers, I would not hate it. I think playing Denver in round one is I don't know, or game one, excuse me, is tough. It's a tough sledding. I still lean the Clippers to win the series, but I have it going 7. I'm sure we'll talk about that too here in a bit. So it's not like I think it's going to be a landslide by any means, but I think Denver is more likely to win game one than they are probably to win game two. So I would lean the Denver side here. I'm not going to touch anything on the spread. I did take a Joker triple double at plus 125. For me, almost any time it's like plus 115 or higher for Joker on a triple double. I just like taking that, man. I mean, he's averaged that throughout the season. I think he's shot the ball a little less now recently, so I think there's a higher probability of him trying to distribute to guys, get Christian Brown, get Porter involved, get Jamal involved. I think he realizes the team needs to get going for them to have success. So I'm definitely I like the Joker plus 125 triple double. I wouldn't be surprised if that drops down to like the plus 110, plus 115 by tip off. So that would be my bet on that game. As far as like the side goes, I have it exactly how it is. So I am not going to persuade you to take a side or touch the total.
Trends like the Clippers. LA Clippers 13-4 against the spread in their last 17. Denver 7-13 against the spread in their last 20. 2-12 against the spread in their last 14 at home. However, I'm fine just taking notes in this game. So that, Clippers are pass, but it's a pass for me. All right, next game up. Hold on, why do I have my model open? Where's my projections? That's the only bad thing about not having the 2 screens. All right, Detroit Pistons taking on the New York Knicks. Not surprised that my projections want me to take the dog here, because a big spread in the I see I spelled it Kinks. Wonderful. Let me change that to Knicks right now on the sheet. But I have it at 113 to 108. So once again, slight to the over, but I don't really adjust for the playoff format. So I'm not surprised that everything's going over. It's telling me to take Detroit, but once again, I'm not going to listen, and I'm going to stay away from this game. Unless, like I said, if you want to make a really compelling argument on why I should be on Detroit or New York, I'm willing to listen. But right now, this is another stay away from me. Projections do like the Pistons, however.
Yeah, so I like the Knicks here, -7. I think they're closer to about a 9-point favorite based off my stuff. And I also like the under 220.5. I have it closer to about 218. So these are my first two sides in totals in this one. I think we touched on it too a couple days ago. We did like a brief preview of all the series, but I'm a little higher on this Knicks team, I think, than most people are. I know that they've struggled against some of the top teams. I don't think Detroit is a top team yet. I think they're a good young team with a lot of upside going forward. But as far as this series goes, I think they have them pretty much matched everywhere. I think Jalen Brunson's going to have his way. And later on at the end of the show, I have a few like series bets for each stuff that like player props and things like that we can go over. But I like the Knicks here -7 and then the Knicks under 220.5.
Great. Yeah, you know what? At first, I like the Pistons here. And I just did the wagering world, so apologies. Well, this is coming out before it, so I'm going to use the same analogy. In boxing and in fighting sports, Jamie, that's where the term gatekeeper was invented. And the idea is, I'm a fighter, and I'm good enough to beat everybody but the champion.
Yeah.
If you want to get a shot at the champion, you take on me because I beat everyone else, but I just can't win that belt, right? That's where I think the Knicks are. They're 0-10 against the combination of the Celtics, the Cavaliers, and the Thunder, right? And I know you're not supposed to do this because you can just start cherry picking to make it pick the teams you want. But just take those 10 games out and rerun the Knicks numbers. It's a pretty damn good team. Do you see what I'm saying? I just think that we downgraded them because with the addition of Miles Bridges, we think, this team's going to be able to challenge Boston. And instead it was Cleveland that took that step, right? To become Boston's #1 challenger. So they didn't meet expectations. I think that we saw this a little bit in the play-in tournament as well with Chicago against Miami. Detroit doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. Where the Knicks got a lot of experience and they do have a coaching edge as well. So even though projections like the Pistons, I'm with you. It's Knicks or pass. And at first I thought that series price was overpriced. Now I kind of see where they're coming from. So, Cade's going to have to really do what Ant did last year and put himself, hey, I'm not top 10, I'm top 5.
Yeah.
In my mind for Detroit to win. And there's a possibility that happens. I'm not laying -400, but I understand why the price is there. And I don't think it's as bad as I did when the lines originally came out. And I was really shocked about it.
Yeah.
I see my guy Glaucoma in the chat, good friend of ours from over at Run Pure Sports. And he in the chat, Let's Go Cowboys used to be the most popular chat in Dallas. It's been replaced, Jamie. It's now Fire Nico.
Go ahead.
No, I was just reading out the chat. He says Jokic is more unstoppable than Bill Cosby at a cocktail party. So we always got to get those ringers in there.
I forgot.
Glock.
I forgot Glock was a Dallas fan, man.
He's in hell right now, dude. He knows how it felt in 2018 when they said Marvin Bagley. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh man, that's tough. So hopefully Glock's gonna be rooting for the Lakers and root for his boy Luka to get a ring this year.
Yeah, if the Lakers isn't if they didn't have enough fans already, right? Now they got the whole too.
Add some more.
LA roots for the Cowboys, so it ends up working out. The Minnesota Timberwolves are taking on your Los Angeles Lakers. I got a total of 216. I got it at 110 to about 108. So it's telling me to take the Timberwolves, but I'm staying away from this right now because my heart's involved. I want Ant to win so bad. We talked about this already, Jamie. So you already know where I'm coming from. I just don't think it's feasible with this supporting cast.
No.
And we go back to that best player on the floor deal. I think Ant can be the best player on the floor, and they could lose each game by 10 to 12.
Yep.
Let's say he outplays both LeBron and Luka by just a little bit. Then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and who's going to be 4? Julius Randle way down here. Jaden McDaniels way down here. I don't know. I think it's malpractice what they did to Anthony Edwards. There's a lot of good teams I felt make a step back in the offseason.
Yeah.
The Beal trade was terrible. Denver's downgraded and Milwaukee's downgraded so much since they were at the height of their team. So it's really too bad there. I don't know what to make of this. I'm going to root for the Timberwolves. But did you go ahead and make a play on your Lakers, or are you just rooting too?
I'm just rooting. Yeah, I got nothing. I think the line's pretty close. I did take two player props, which I know our guy Glock's gonna like, but I got Luca over 28.5 points, and then I
Mhm.
got Luca over 8.5 first quarter points.
Mm.
He averages 10.6 points in the first quarter since he's been with the Lakers. LeBron, I'm very confident of having watched a lot of LeBron James in my life, and he is going to defer to Luca specifically early in the game. He's kind of done that all year long, and he's even done that the last past couple years with AD that he was trying to
And the
do.
rotation is he hits the bench first, right? So Luca will get more first quarter minutes than LeBron
Yeah, Luca generally plays the entire first quarter.
first, and
Sometimes he'll come
LeBron
out.
rests so he can
Le,
get the
Le,
extra rest through the quarter time.
Yeah, LeBron will sit about 7 minute mark, around the 7 minute
Mhm.
mark, and he comes back in normally with about 3 minutes remaining.
Mhm.
Whereas Luca generally plays the first. Sometimes he'll come out with like a minute left. Most of the time he plays the first. I think Luca is going to get off to a hot start, man. He averages over almost 8 shot attempts in the first quarter by itself. It's like 3.7 threes with the Lakers. So I think he's going to come out firing. I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he's going to switch hunt, try to get Rudy on him. If not Rudy, he's going to get Conley. Either one of those guys are not going to be able to contain Luca, man. So I think LeBron knows this team goes as far as Luca goes. And so to get Luca going early, I mean, LeBron James, too, historically, the last several years has been a much better fourth quarter player, even third quarter player than he has early on in the game. So I think these two work really well in combination with Luca getting off to a hot start and LeBron kind of being the closer in these games. So I'm excited to see that, but I love both those bets, specifically the over 8.5 points for the first quarter. And I would not be surprised if Luca has 20 to 25 points at the end of the half, and you got this over 28.5, and it's looking really good. So that's where I am going. I'm not touching the side. I honestly don't even normally like to bet um, on like my teams or anything like that. 4 games, I'm already so invested. I will never bet against them, even if the numbers literally tell me not to. I'll just pass. I'm
Mm.
already so
I
invested,
will.
so yeah, you will. I will. I will. I just don't. When I watch my team, I want to be able to just like root for them. I don't want to feel conflicted in any way. But yeah, that's. I always like to do like fun parlays though too. So I always do like some super long shot parlay with like Luca 30 plus points, LeBron 10 plus rebounds. Just something fun, something crazy like that too for the game to get a little more action. But those are my two props. I'm not touching anything else.
Yeah, I mean, if they had it, I would play Lakers minus 10.5 free throw attempts because I think you guys are going to get a real friendly whistle there too.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Sunday. Another one, Jamie. I need you and Tyler to talk me off this. I clicked open that bookmaker.eu
Yeah.
and I saw the Magic catching 13 and a half, and I had to grab my hand
It,
and hold it back
you.
to submit. I want that 13 and a half so
Yeah. So
bad.
you wanted Magic.
I hadn't run my numbers yet. It came to 12. And I already
Okay.
know that I'm not, that made me go, okay, if it's 12 and I already know my points are usually 2 to 3 points
Yep.
heavy for the underdogs to begin with. I go, if I just do my in the head adjustment, now I'm getting to 14, 15. Maybe that is right. I
Yeah.
want that Orlando, but I want to talk to you about it because I feel like I'm like a points junkie, right? I just give me the points, right? And
Right. Right. Right.
I'm not thinking clearly, right? Because I'm just addicted to grabbing those points. What do you think, man? Are you interested in Orlando plus 13 and a half? And let's just say you were. Probably wait till Sunday morning. Does it go to 14 and a half? I mean, do you think people are going to take Orlando?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think people are going to take Orlando. I don't know. I have this at 14, so I'm completely staying away. Um, I don't know. It's
Seems
one
like
of
a
those things where
lot,
you're like,
right? And I don't think Orlando's that bad. And they gave Boston some problems during the year. I thought
uh,
we talked about this in the play-in that you know they're a much tougher matchup than Atlanta would have been. Atlanta would have been,
yeah,
well, can't count on Boston to sweep anybody, but about
right.
as easy a matchup as you could have get. I think they're going to at least make Boston work.
I think Orlando is definitely a much better team. I said that too when they played Atlanta. I mean, their defense is really good. My concern is they are not a 3 point shooting team, and you are going up against the best 3 point shooting team, the team
Mm-hmm.
that's going to shoot maybe 53s.
Mm-hmm.
If they get hot and it's this is when the 13 and a half where one moment it could be like, oh wow, it's a 3 to 4 point game, and then 2.5 minutes later it's like a 16 to 20 point game, right? And that is my concern. And I'm just not sure Orlando has the players to get back into a game like that because they're just not good 3-point shooters. Wagner is a terrible shooter too, man. Like he's like a terrible 3-point shooter, I should say. I mean, he's shooting like 28 or 29%, I believe, this year. So
I
he's
like
just
Zion a lot, and they hate his form.
yeah.
I don't watch basketball that closely. Like I couldn't critique your shooting form,
You can
but
critique
they hate
his.
form, and they say that it's just
He's like a
really
hitch. Yeah.
inefficient. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird hitch. It honestly looks worse than like Draymond Green's, to be honest with you. But again, maybe KCP gets hot. I just don't think so. I've seen enough of KCP now with his Orlando team. So I would lean
Yeah,
towards
right,
the
we're not
Boston
doing that
side.
again.
No, I'm done with that. He had 7 open looks and made one of them, so
Right.
I'm done with that. I just think Boston, the variance between these two, I mean, Boston is just like I said, they lead the league in 3-point attempts a game. They're like the best 3-point shooting team in the league. Orlando literally ranks dead last in 3-point percentage. Like I could just see this game getting out of hand so quickly, and I just want no part of that. So for me, I would lean Boston, but I'm not going to touch it.
All right, Jamie. So I'm going to tell you my strategy.
All right.
I'm going to lay off this one.
Okay.
We talked about how these lines pretty much stay the same. If Orlando gets smoked in game 1, I might take them game 2.
Take them game 2.
Right?
Okay.
We know that Boston they have ADD. They just can't focus for that long.
Yeah.
Especially when they already know, right? Like if they win the first 23 and they're just cakewalking and, Tatum's got his kid on the court. Then I'll be like, okay, this is the typical Boston letdown spot, especially at home. It feels like on the road, they're a little more focused. So
right.
Maybe that's the proper strategy there. Of course, we don't know the last 2 games, but we got to talk about the Warriors who are taking on the Rockets. I got this one pretty close, although I do have an over, not taking that. But I have it 110 about to 108 about, rounding off a little. But I have a Rockets 2-point win. Rockets are -1.5. So I got this one pretty close. And like I said, when I adjust for the fact that I don't really know how to properly adjust for the playoffs, I know that my totals are going high. And we know that even though the playoffs are chalky on sides, unders are still alive a lot. I don't know what to do with this series, Jamie. I think let's say I was on First Take and they told me Stephen A is taking this side. You have to take the other side. I would feel comfortable. You could give me either side, and I think I could sit here and make a nice 5 to 10 minute argument, even with a guy like that screaming in my face. And I'll just give you a brief one on each side, and then I'll let you break it down. Number one, I think Houston's the better team. They're way more athletic. We know that you need to rebound in order to win in the playoffs. Defensive rebounding is important. The Warriors were the number 1 defensive rating team, so I think they can match them in defense. I don't know if they can match them with rebounding. They also have more depth. And recency bias once again, man. How do I take man Thompson just shutting down Steph Curry, one of the worst performances of career? How do I take that out of my head? I mean, I watched that game and I was amazed. And you look at Amen Thompson, right? And everyone says NBA is the best athletes in the world, right? This guy looks like, how NBA prospects look in high school? He looks like that on an NBA court. Like he's that fast. He can jump that high. He's that agile. So that's why I like Houston. On the Golden State side, we just saw this and we talked about it in the Knicks Pistons series as well. Who's got the playoff experience? Who knows what to do? And who can I count on to get to the bucket, get buckets, Steph Curry, or get to the line, Jimmy Butler? And it's not like this is an all offense team, they can get stops too. They know what to do. And in a close game, you got to think they're going to be so much more comfortable. I think there's a lot more pressure on the Rockets, just because you know how it goes, right? It's just this huge uplifting story, but then you get smoked in the first round, and don't you kind of ruin all those good feelings?
Right.
And it feels like they have something to prove. They've got a lot of pressure. Let's just say Golden State lose. Like Steph is 37. Jimmy Butler's 35. Like they're still Hall of Famers. Houston's really got a lot more to prove. So I actually think that favors into Golden State. I think they play a little looser in a close game. So there's my arguments for both sides. I have not jumped in on this game, though. I mean, if you really had to force me to take I would take the Warriors, but I don't want to get involved. This is, we're looking for edges here when we're gambling. I think it's okay to just say I don't know, or this is
Yeah.
a really good line, or this line is fair. What do you think?
I lean towards the Houston side for me. I
Okay.
have Houston about 2.5. I'm a little worried about Golden State. Like I said earlier, I think that they give the Lakers probably the toughest matchup in this series based off of just like stylistic matchups and their ability to go small. I have some concerns with them going up against this Houston team who can play much bigger than them.
Hmm.
Um, I know a lot of people are on. Like I said, we'll talk about this a little more when we go over our series bets, but um, I like Houston here. So I think Houston can still game one. I don't even say still because they are favorite, but they're just
Hmm.
not favored in the overall series. And I
Yeah,
also
and
like
isn't
Kevon.
that when was the last time we saw a plus 180 underdog or whatever they're at? I don't know. It might have moved since we
It,
looked
it
at.
did it did move. Yeah,
Did they
it's a little
take
lower
money?
now. Yeah.
Okay.
So because I know
Even
it,
so,
yeah, Golden State I think was like minus 210 originally in the series. I think it got down to like minus 180 last I checked, something like that. So I know a little bit has come in on Houston. I think deservedly so. I think we all talked about how that it felt a little wide. Um,
it just seems
that's
crazy that they would be plus whatever. We know at least plus 150, right? But
yeah,
they're favored in game one, but they're
yep,
plus 150 to win the series.
yep. I mean, it
I
is
don't
it.
remember that happening a lot.
No, it's a little similar, not as drastic, obviously, with the Clippers and Nuggets, but Nuggets 2.5 favorites, point favorites, but they're also underdogs in the series, but not near as drastic as the Golden State Houston one, which is really surprising for me. But I like Kevon Looney over 4.5 rebounds in this series. So I mean, I think he's going to be forced to play 20 plus minutes. Like if you look at his game log, he averages over like 15 minutes a game over the last several games. He's had one game where he's played over 20 minutes, and that was against Houston in like the last month and a half. And he had 11 rebounds in that game. I think they're going to be forced to play more Kevon Looney in this series. I think Houston's going to be able to throw guys like obviously Sengun, but they also got Steven Adams. I think Steven Adams is going to play more minutes in this series. I think they're going to have to try and play a little bit bigger, which I think is going to be able to hurt Golden State. But I do like the
Well, they're
prop in
comfortable with
Looney.
that. They've ran that two big lineup a lot, and I don't have the numbers up in front of me right now, but it also has a positive net rating. So it's not
Yeah,
like they're going to throw out a group of guys. It's not like Shengun and Adams are going to be uncomfortable with playing with each other on the court.
yeah.
They're quite comfortable with that. I'm curious to see how many minutes Looney gets because does Kerr kind of double down on the small ball style, or does he say, you know what, Loon Dog, or I mean, he was really in that championship run in 2022. He was really instrumental, and I remember I seen
100%.
a lot of his props. He's kind of disappeared. Maybe this is time for him to make a resurgence. One other thing, and I didn't bring this up in my reasons for the Rockets, but I'm really shocked by this whole Kuminga thing. And I know that these guys are all vets, but I just wonder what it's like having a guy in the locker room where they just crushed his confidence. And he's been such a key to this team. Um, I wonder how much that affects him. And I'm really surprised that he got those DMPs against the Clippers. And then I believe he didn't play against the Grizzlies either,
Mm-mm,
did he?
nope.
And for a player that's talented, I wonder, everyone reacts differently, and maybe they just look past it in the locker room. But I also wonder if that kind of festers and causes some problems for the Golden State chemistry.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm with you there. I feel like they're going to have to play him here eventually. And this is going to be interesting to see how that works. But as far as Looney goes, by the way, I ran my stuff this morning. So I have him projected for 19 and a half minutes in
Mm,
this game.
that'd be more
Um,
than season average, right?
yeah. So, I mean, lately he's been playing about 15, 16 minutes a game. Like I said, he played 22 against Houston. I think he played like 19 or 18 or something like that against Denver. I think he's going to be forced onto the court here.
I think so too. I hope they bring him back. I think he's a really good player
Yeah. Yep.
for what he does, right? I mean, he's obviously not going to turn your franchise around, but I
No.
think he plays his role well. What I like about players like that is they're able to contribute without the ball in their hands. And I think that's
Yep.
one of the number one problems that college players have when they come to the league. They're not the top dog anymore, and they don't know how to contribute without the ball in their hands, right? Like Josh
Yep.
Giddey comes to mind, right? The ball's not in his hands. Like, what does he do for you? Zach LaVine doesn't have
Yep.
the ball. How does he help you win? Um, Okay, great. So, you're betting the Rockets there to win the series or
So
to win the game?
I took Houston plus 1.5. I
Okay.
do have them. My prediction would be Houston in 7, but I
Uh-huh.
like taking the plus 1.5 just so
Plus
if
one
they
and a half
don't win it,
games?
plus 1.5 games.
Okay.
It came out at minus 115. I think I
Yeah.
got it off. This is
Oh,
when Golden State was minus 210 to start. I just need a game 7. I feel like this is going to get to a game 7. If Warriors 1-6, I would be a little surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the series, but I do think Houston deserves a little bit more respect in this regard, especially getting home court and especially given the size discrepancy between these two teams. So I like the Houston plus 1.5 in the series, but I have Houston 7 if I had to make a prediction.
it's a great series, man. Just at youth and athleticism and energy
Yep.
versus skill and experience. So
Yep.
that one's gonna be a lot of fun. And like I said earlier, I don't think there's anything wrong as handicappers or sports bettors to just say I don't know or great
Yep.
line. And that's where I'm at with Houston. And maybe, after we watch, I'll pick up on some things like I don't know, let's just say Houston wins game 1, but in my mind that they're super lucky and there's easy adjustments the Warriors can make. Then I might
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
like, oh, or the opposite. But as of right now, I'm fine staying on the sideline for the West. I actually feel like I have stronger takes in the East, like in Milwaukee and New
Yeah.
York there for the advance. So
Yeah.
I know you have some series bets and I know you have some player props. You want to share those with the people right now?
Yeah, so I like I said, I took Houston plus 1.5, but then I got some fun point totals. I always like to take these for the series. So obviously got to go with my guy Luca the Don for most points in the series at minus 105. I honestly think this should be like minus 130.
Mm.
I think Anthony Edwards obviously needs more respect. I just don't. So my thinking here is I'm not sure. Conley's the best passer, best playmaker as far as that goes on the team, in my opinion. I don't know if he's going to be able to play throughout most of this series because he's the defensive liability. I think Anthony Edwards is going to be forced to make a lot of plays, and I think he's going to be almost a better playmaker than he will be a scorer. I think he's going to have games where he's going to get you 35 or 40, but I would not be shocked if he has some games where he scores 18, 19. The Lakers have also held him to like 18 points per game when they played him. One of those games he did get ejected, but he was not playing very well prior to that. Anyways, I would not be surprised to see JJ sending doubles on him and making guys like Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels beat the Lakers. So I like that look for Luca. And then I also took Luca most rebounds at plus 500. And then I also took a little bit less, a quarter unit on LeBron most rebounds at plus 1600. I think the heavy favorite here, and rightfully so, is Rudy Gobert. But again, I have concerns about his ability to be on the floor for a lot of these minutes because I do think the Lakers, again, play small, and he's not going to be able to guard Rui. He's not going to be able to guard DFS. And if he gets switch hunted on to Luca, I think it's a matchup nightmare for him. So that's kind of me just banking off of maybe Rudy Gobert getting run off the floor essentially, and you're getting plus 500 on Luca and plus 1600 for Braun, which I like. And then to the Denver series, this one is slightly juiced, but I still think there's value here. Jokic most points minus 165. I have this honestly closer to minus 200. I would be surprised if Jokic does not lead the series in points. I feel like this is going to be a, a terrible comparison. I know you're an old school guy, so I don't even want to like. This isn't an exact
So you're gonna
comparison.
piss me off. We
No,
had a
no,
great
no,
show, Jamie. What are you gonna say?
no. No, no, I'm saying like Jordan and Jordan's Bulls versus when he went up against Larry Bird and the Celtics, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not talking about the teams. I'm talking about how Jordan
When
was
he
very
got the
clearly
yeah,
he was very clearly the best player in that series, right?
yeah,
Unstoppable. But the team just surrounding him was not very good at the time. I
yeah.
feel I feel like that with Jokic, where he is just very clearly the best player in the world, very clearly the best player in that series. I think he is going to very easily have the most points. And then my last one is in the Knicks series. I like Jalen Brunson, most points at plus 100. I mean, this guy has multiple games in the playoffs where he scores 40 plus points. He's going to shoot the ball a ton. I think he's going to be very active. So those would be some fun series props that I like. If I had to choose an
Those
absolute
segments,
favorite,
the first one I'm a little worried about, and my only scenario is it's exactly what you say. Luka gets him to the lead, and then LeBron takes over, right? But
sure,
Ant's carrying the team the whole way. Those
sure,
second two, those are unbelievable prices. That should be minus
yeah,
250 for Jokic.
yeah,
Man, like I understand Cade is great, but I think he's great because of everything he does, not just scoring. And where
he's a great passer.
Brunson, hey, he's a good passer, right? But let's be obvious, like he's not out there.
He he's a scorer, man.
He's not getting you rebounds, right? He's out
Yeah,
there to score. And
yeah.
yeah, I don't know which one I like more.
Jokic is my favorite. Like I said, though, it's obviously minus
But
165, so it's
plus
not as fun.
100,
At plus 100 for Brunson, I
that
think
should
is
be like
great
minus
too.
150.
Yeah, I had both those way off as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
All right, I love it, Jamie. And you mentioned Jordan's era without using the word plumber. I mean, great job today.
Yeah,
Fantastic
absolutely.
work. Fantastic.
100%. 100%. We had a good
Um,
show. I didn't want to end it on a bad note.
yeah, you don't want to fire me up. That's what
Yep.
Tyler likes to do. So he'll be back next week. Hopefully, we can bring you back next week. It sounds like your schedule's pretty open.
Yep.
So I'll continue to drop those links for you. I know the people watching the show appreciate having you on. Final words for the NBA playoffs this weekend. I'm going to go have some steak and enjoy this Miami Heat win.
Yeah, it's the best time of the year, man. We're about to get two bunch of really good basketball. So enjoy this one. Go Lakers, go Luca, go LeBron. And look out for me on game 2. I'm gonna be in LA game 2. So look out for me. I might run on the court and hold aside for spread.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. The channel's Nuke the House, guys. Make sure you subscribe. They're going live this weekend. They're live betting UFC, they're live betting NASCAR, and they're live betting the NBA playoffs. Nuke the House.